session 2 of Unit 5. In this session, we are going to look at classification of teaching aids or resources. Let's proceed. By the end of this session, you should be able to state the classes of teaching aids available to the chemistry teacher, explain visual aids or materials, state the classes of visual aids, explain the following: printed and duplicated materials, non-projected display materials, and finally, state the characteristics of a good chalkboard. So what are the classes of teaching aids or resources? We have the visual materials, we have the audio materials, we have the audiovisual materials, we have the computer-based materials, and the activity aid. We are going to look at these classes one after the other. Some will be in the next session. Let's look at the visual materials. Visual. Before we start, you should be thinking of something that we would be doing with our eyes, something that will make use of our sense of sight. They are materials that are viewed with the sense of sight. So those ones that we can see fall under the visual materials. They do not come with audio. We should take note of that. We can only see them. They don't produce any sound for us to hear. Visual aids can also be classified into the following. We have the printed and duplicated materials. We have the non-projected materials. We have the projected materials. We have the models, and we have realia. In other words, real objects. Let's look at printed and duplicated materials as well as non-projected materials. The printed and duplicated materials include all textual and other materials that can be run off in large numbers. And with this, we are talking of the handouts and assignment sheets. The handout comprise of all different types of information providing materials that are given out to students. They include notes, tables, diagrams, or chemistry practical instructional sheets. The assignment sheets consist of problem sheets, reading list, laboratory instructional sheets, briefing sheets for projects and seminars, etc. Let's look at non-projected display materials. They are materials that are shown to students without the use of optical or electronic projector. So we don't project with the non-projected display materials. Examples: we have the display board, we have the blackboard or chalkboard, and we have the whiteboard. The display board is any flat surface that could be used to write information to be communicated. Materials for display on such boards can be collected from any source, even from the textbook. But here, one thing is that you should display in a way that it will be catching, it will be colorful, and communicate a certain purpose. Okay, the blackboards are those ones that are very common, and we usually see them in some of the basic schools, even in some of the high schools. But for some years back, they were very common in the basic schools. They are slightly abrasive writing surface made of wood, hardboard, cement, ground glass, asbestos, plastic, etc. And they are always installed to face the class. In some of the classrooms too, you would have the whiteboard that is displayed in front of the or installed to to face the students, and then you would have blackboard also installed at the back or behind the students. The whiteboards are now common in modern times, and now in a number of the basic schools they are switching from the chalkboards to the whiteboards. Let's look at characteristics of a good chalkboard, because the chalkboards are still very common. Its surface should be rough enough to hold writing. If the surface is very smooth, then when you write on it, it looks very thin, and students, especially those at the back, wouldn't see well. Its surface should be dull so that it can eliminate glare. And then its surface should be such that the writing on the board can be easily erased. You would have some of the boards that after writing, when you even clean the board, then the blackboard becomes white and you can't write on it again unless it is darkened again. Its height should be within the reach of the teacher. In other words, a teacher of normal height shouldn't stretch that much before getting to the top of the board. So it should be installed at a level that the average teacher, in terms of height, would be able to use it conveniently. Okay, we are ending this session with self assessment questions as shown. Please try them. We'll meet in the next session. Thank you.